gods and concept, the traditional Igbo concept of God and goddesses, And I tried to, and people will condemn that prayer of Isobokibu, saying, "Before you, Mother Idoto, naked I stand." And they will praise that the prayer of the Catholic Church, "Before you I stand, sinful and sorrowful, O Mother of the World incarnate." So the narrative here is, what is the basis of condemning one particular prayer and praising the other one? What is there any supremacy? Is it inferiority complex that is making us to abandon our own? Because they're always saying the same thing. We stand before a divine presence, singing on any hymns, according to Zalik Gibron, the Lebanese poet. Are we, who has the right to decide which prayer to say? So that's why I thought I tried to capture here. You can see the figure standing before a divine presence, Mother Idoto or Blessed Virgin Mary, according from the Catholic Church, or the Hindu goddess. Every religion has their own god. I went through some books and I discovered that a lot of religions are still practicing their own worship of the female goddess. But when you come to Africa, they will tell you that you can't do that, and especially in the East here, what you call cultural self-hate. You see that in my villages, some people go and destroy some shrines that they are born again. So that's why I started number 20. I still have number 20 before you stand part 2 of it. How do we decide what prayer to say? And who has the right to validate a prayer? Is it the Catholic Church or is it the traditional institution? And which prayer should we teach our children more? 14. This one is the Red Cap Chiefs. What I try to, in Red Cap Chiefs, we have Red Cap chiefs in traditional Igbo society. We still have Red Cap chiefs in Catholic Church. I grew up in Catholic Church. I was raised in Catholic Church. So you see, my narrative fluctuates between the traditional system and the Catholic system. Like Chinua Achebe wrote in There Was a Country. His uncle Udo was a traditionalist and his father was a catechist. So when his father goes out, he will sneak into Uncle Udo's house to understand that thing he does that makes him not to talk lie. That that makes him to live a perfect life, even though he's a traditional person. He still goes to Udo's house. That Udo was not a Christian, but Udo lived an upright. Uncle Udo lived an upright life. Yes, they condemned him for practicing what he practiced, for following his religion. So, what I try to do here is to look at the way the controversies surrounding the Red Cap Chiefs and the Catholic bishops or Christian bishops. Everybody is a bishop now. You see them, they put on Red Cap Chief, Red Cap everywhere. So I try to see if they have nuisance value, if they still have nuisance value. Because today in our society, you see that anybody can be a chief. Even a tout can be a chief. Once you have money, you come from Abuja, you have money, you come with mobile police and do a kilometer of road or buy a jeep for your chief, for your Igwe in the village. They will make you a chief. And what are their value in the society? What are they contributing in the society? Gone are days when chiefs are giving based on integrity and honor. But today you see that chiefs are giving based on what you can offer. And in the Catholic Church, how do you determine who a bishop is? If you understand the politics I have a lot of priests, I have a lot of friends that are priests. If you understand the politics in making a bishop, yeah, they say he's making a bishop. You see that some of those people that are made bishops are very rugged priests. They play the politics just to become bishops. It's not that as if they are the best. So what I can
so I think the narrative will go beyond the Catholic Church.
And the Anglican and the Christian.
The way people are now getting chieftains. It's the same way people are getting priests and bishops.
And they will call him bishop. So it's a problem in our society. So what the question here is, should we abolish the chieftaincy title, or should we streamline it, or do they have to that's fine? You know, Onyako used to say that when we were in year 2, he used to tell us that what makes the balanced family is where we have gentlemen as well as radicals. So how do we bring these two people together so that they don't destroy our society? You know, the good chiefs, the good red cap chiefs, and the bad ones. How do we merge them so that we have a great society? 21. The masters, the slaves, and the freeborn. It's covered that what I'm trying to capture is that is a situation where the elite is like a court, and you can't get in. You can only serve them. Even if you are, if in a society we have a clique. In that clique, we have another clique. The society is a clique. You know, the elite is a clique, and inside that clique, we still have another clique. People that run the affairs of the. And if you don't follow their rules, their dictates, they will deal with you. So what I try to do with the masters, the slaves, and the freeborn, who is serving who? The elite and their children are the masters, and those that work for them. Even if you are a GM in the bank, you are still a slave to the boss, because they can still mess you up. They can put an allegation on you and say, and call EFCC to arrest you, and they will bring you down. So you are a perpetual slave to a master, who is the grand elite. It's like in politics now. You can make any noise. Immediately you cross the path of the government in power. No matter who you are, they will bring you down. If you're not in their good book, they will bring you down. So that's what I try to do here. If you look at the last chapter of Things Fall Apart, because what I try to do is to pick narratives from books to expand storyline. You read beyond the story. You move from just the text to how the story relates to the society. How I compare the story to a modern happenings, how things are happening in our society today. That if you look at the last chapter of Things Fall Apart, when Okonkwo hanged himself, Obielika came and told the district commissioner that you people have driven this man to kill himself. Now nobody will bury him. So he asked the district commissioner to go and get people to bury Okonkwo because he committed suicide. So in traditional African studies, you discover that Ajofia is a place where traditional Igbo society anyway, Ajofia is a place where people that died of suicide or people that died of unknown illness, and they say Itoafo, Itoafo or strange illnesses are dumped. Like when Okonkwo's dad was ill, they went and dumped him in Ajofia to die there. And Achebe talked about, gave a story of a man that was dumped in Ajofia and he came back. They took him back there again to die there. They see you as a contaminant, contamination to society. So I compare it to what is happening today with Ebola and coronavirus, and HIV, and the psychology behind suicide, because we are having increased number of suicide. Is it valid today? Because in our society today, if somebody commits suicide, they don't do funeral for him. They will say that he killed himself. Why should we mourn him? That he's an evil child. If care is not taken, they won't even bury you in the compound. They will go and bury you in one farmland. So is it still valid to condemn suicide in our society today? That's the question I tried to raise them. Is it still valid? Because we are still condemning people to Ajofia, whether it is financially, if you are not okay, your friends that are rich will dump you in Ajofia, they will leave you there until you are delivered, either you are delivered by unknown spirits, you come back and meet up with them, then they are sent to you. So we have all kinds of Ajofia today. We have psychological Ajofia, we have economic Ajofia, we have social Ajofia, evil forest. So how do we work in our society to understand that certain things should be looked at psychologically? Because if you watch some crime documentaries, you see that at the point the police will meet a psychic to decide what happened in a crime scene. Like when there's the dead body somewhere, they don't just go and dump the dead body in an evil forest. They bring a psychic to that spot. So we need the psychic now to cleanse us of the mentality of Ajofia. God bless the migrants. The white man don't like this phrase, God bless the migrants, because they see migration as Africans, poor Africans or Asians or Arabs crossing the Sahara Desert or risking their life through Atlantic Ocean to get to Europe. But it's not that migration has been as old as humankind. Before, when they started giving visa was after the First World War. Before the First World War, people just moved around. They came to Africa. They told us they discovered everything. It's still migration. So people migrate from all points of life. Some come for cultural experience. Some come for greener pasture. Some come for the fun of discovering a new environment. So it's called that the countries that have a low population of migrants are countries that people want to go to. Look at US. The beauty of America is the combination of all races. Look at South Africa. They don't call them rainbow nation for nothing. It's because we have Asian South Africans, Black South African, white, all kinds of races. And now UK is developing into the same society. It's good that these countries you feel comfortable as an African living in those countries. It's difficult for you to go to China as an African to live because you don't have that. They don't encourage that cultural orientation. They just want to turn you to make you learn their language so that you can be a laborer, you can work for them. That's all they need. They don't want you to naturalize and become a Chinese. They just want you to. And see that French people too, they move into that system in a different way because they always want you to be a Frenchman. But if you look at US, they want you to maintain your name. If you look at American politics now, you see this mayor is an Indian American. You see the other one, African American. You see the other one, Jamaican American. So it's that diversity that makes a society wonderful, comfortable to live in. God bless you. The victims are, if you look at all over the world where there are crises, the victims are always women and children. Men are still victims, but they are not visible because young boys go into war. They are now creating plastic machine gun that a 7-year-old can carry and shoot people. So because they want to sell their arms. So at the end of the day, you see that the victims are women and children because a 7-year-old that carries a plastic Kalashnikov can go into a village, kill people and rape people. So at that age, that's why the man from the Central African Republic, when they captured him, they said that he was forced into war as a child soldier. So they can't hold him responsible for what he did as a child. That he too was a victim. So they are still dragging. So I try to expand the poem of this guy's poem, J.P. Clark's poem, The Victims. Who are the victims in the crisis? Is it only women and children? Or do we include young boys and men? And how do we classify a victim? Because some women are.
How do you classify?
How do we classify who is the victim?
How do you classify crisis?
Crisis.
In those cases, as I said, number one, victim. I once asked Joy, people have been our code, one at wherever working when the moon family.
Yeah.
Let us say,
the men.
Women are raping bodies. What they got.
Significant.
When you about 90% of boys they are indecently dressed. Trials are banned. If you trace the origin of some of the prisoners who wanted to say their fellow men, they were available for sex.
Yes.
When they get out of one and the bodies that no wine, decently. So some of those things.
Face me, I face you. If you live in Lagos, you understand what face me and face you. I used to live in face me and face you in Lagos, and you can see it's wonderful living in face me because interaction. If you have crisis with your neighbor, it becomes a problem. If you are in good terms with your neighbor, you enjoy living in face me and face you. And I try to bring it into the Nigerian situation, where we culturally and ethnically we are confronted with one another. We are confronting one another. Everybody is saying now it's not only Igbo and it's not only Yoruba and it's not only Hausa. Now we have Niger Delta talking about their own Niger Delta tribe. Because when you talk about Nigerian tribes, you say Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba. Even in government media houses, they don't remember there's Benue people, there's Niger Delta people, there's which other people, and other smaller tribes. And what I try to do here, how do we face each other? Taking a cue from the Lagos housing structure, where if you come to face me, I face you in Lagos, you see that you see Igbo, you see Yoruba, you see Delta, you see all kind of tribes. Some are living in this side of the building, the other people are living in the other side, and they live in harmony. They live peacefully. And sometimes they don't live peacefully. There's crisis. Even if there's crisis, you don't have option than to face your neighbor. If you can't face your neighbor, you park another person will move in. And you see that you face me, I face you. The kitchen is in the corridor. The walkway, you put your stove close to your door to cook. So what I try to do here is to use that Lagos scenario of face me, I face you to look at Nigerian situation. How do we face ourselves, even with our diversities? How do we face ourselves? Is one tenant, because we are all tenants in Nigeria, is one tenant bigger than the other tenant? Who decides whose stove will be in the corridor, who should be cooking in the corridor, and who should be cooking outside the corridor? Why is it that if this person cooks in the corridor with all the smokes, nothing happens? But if another person cooks in the corridor with all the smokes, the landlord will come and throw the person out. So how do we bring equity and tolerance amongst everybody? I'm talking metaphorically now.
And the issue of who is nearest to the toilet or the bathroom.
Yes.
Because if you happen to be nearest to
yes.
you wake up early, you get the best of everything.
Yes.
Who is
this man's wife, this former wife, what's that man in Lagos? The collector of Lagos. The wife came and told me that this work looks scary and scary, that works looks scary. And I noticed that the Daily Trust journalists Vanessa. Vanessa said the same thing, that the works look scary, you know. I told him that they said that it's too dark, you know. But if you look at art history, great artists, they always use subdued colors. Like, and even the one use, if you look at it, it's not very bright. So if you look at that color, if you look at what NASA TV is, that every beautiful thing comes from darkness. You know, if you plant a seed on earth and cover it, the seed stays in darkness until it comes out and grow. That soil inside, it will not grow. And if a baby is in the womb, there's no light in the womb of a woman. The baby swims in darkness until it comes out. And when it comes out, that's when the great darkness starts. Because they are started brainwashing them, the society will brainwash the child. Imagine bringing the baby, giving birth to a baby and putting the baby in a secluded area where there is no body and allow the baby to grow. Imagine how the baby will grow. What is difficult. So that's why I use that color. If you move outside this planet, instead everywhere is dark. Everywhere is dark. If you move outside this planet, if you put on that color,
somebody says that the baby is like a toddler that's which you can write anything because they are built that this manipulate your schedule. Wait,
so that's why that color. All the king's messengers. In our side today, you see that the messengers of the king are the people that are in charge. The king today in our society is never in charge. It's the messengers that gather. That's why I try to capture all the king's messengers. They surround the king and they are flamboyant and they give orders. And the president don't even know what is happening. The king, let me use the king for now, because we're talking in metaphor.
No,
the king
is like a captive.
The king is like a captive, you know. He's just there. Why the messengers run the show. And it's called that any king that tries to come out and dominate, they get rid of it. Number 8 is lockdown. You know, I try to follow news and documentaries, you know, what is happening in the society. I try to respond to it. You know, you look at today, during the lockdown, everything was locked down. The only thing that was not locked down was sexual activities. If you go to maternity houses today, you see that a lot of women are registered for antenatal. So I'm trying to capture the power of sex. You know, they've locked down everything, but they couldn't lock down sexual. And even the white people that are marketing sex, they find alternative means of streaming sex on YouTube by the sex workers in Poland. You pay them, they will remove their clothes and they will send you images, videos of themselves dancing. So they couldn't control that. So that's why they asked them to use electronic means to market their products. Lockdown, that's why I try to do lockdown, the church, the pastors and the imams. The city is in lockdown. Everybody is in lockdown, but sexual activity goes on.
You also asked
what the different kinds of uses to summarize does sorry I joined the conversation, but I don't know if you've explained the technique of work, but does your use of or your choice of flat objects has a conceptual connection with the works that you do? I know you as a painter, I know this will be painting with the textile at the same time. But to me, one may, or a critic can accuse you of the kind of monotony if you begin to look at the works, even the ones that I've seen before now. When you look at them, it's usually one color and then different hues and things of that color. If you see another one color, different hues and things of that color. And then where you have colors, like in this, where you have different hues, that it still tends to have that characterization of flat things. So I don't know if it has.
The flat colors, yeah, their intention, because they tend to blend in kinetic. You look at them, they come together in your eyes. When you look at it, this one stays here, the color, I put them so that they will blend in kinetic. And when you talk about monotone, you talk about style too. You need to develop a signature. If you see this work anywhere in the world, you say this is Akachukwu. So you look at modern old masters too. You look at Van Gogh. You look at that his palette knife effect. Anywhere you see strokes, anywhere you see Van Gogh, you can say this is Van Gogh. So it depends on what you want to do. Art now is not about painting three-dimensional. It's about trying to create a form and putting a narrative that drives the form, then allowing you as the audience to. It's like, let me give you an example now. If you take 3 people to a river, then one person might not go close to the water. They will just put their feet and come out. They will give you their own experience of the river. Another person will just go and swim at the shallow end of the river and come out. And they will tell you how they feel about the river. But another person will still may not be satisfied with either putting the feet or going to the shallow end of the river. They want to go down deep into the river. And it's only that person that will tell you the experience he or she has going down the river. Because you want to see what the bottom of the river is like. That's what I try to do with my works. I try to allow people to go deep inside the river. If you are putting your feet at the shallow end, the work draws you in so that you can go deep. That's why if you look at it the first time, you may not see everything. You are forced to look at it again, over and over again. So you don't just glance through the work. I don't want you to just come and glance through the work. I want you to, the more you look at it, deeper you go with the work. And I call it endless imagination. It's like the ripples. When you throw a stone in the river, you settle with the ripples. Some will settle with the ripples, but other people will not settle with the ripples. They will go down. If it's a strong ripple, it's a strong object, magnet, it draws you down the river so that you have a full experience.
Yeah, because of the technique and by the time you begin to interrogate the work, the peculiar characters come out. So just round off with 1 or 2 words. How have you survived in Abuja?
It's not easy in Abuja, but it's patient. I told myself that I have to continue working. I have a fish farm anyway. I have a fish farm. It doesn't give plenty money, but it gives you enough money to do small things. But if you want to start chasing millions of naira, you may not practice. So what I need now, I told myself, what I need now is a bit of comfort so that I can concentrate and do the work. I try to give everybody the benefit of that.
More questions? If not,
Let me comment on one thing, so that, on the works you talked in 15. I was touched particularly when that work came up with the title and then the narrative, especially the one from God. So as artists and free thinkers, how do you now, because when we talk about the victims, like Ron said, we all tend to look at women, children, but a man that was pushed into money ritual, armed robbery, and all that, crime, let me just say, into crime, and eventually he gets jailed or loses his life. While trying to make money from his family or from his extended family, to me, I think he's a victim, and a very serious one at that. Because I've reasoned it this way. Most often, if you go to a prison, 80% of the people there are men. If you come to the family, like he just said, using the analysis he gave on so it goes to the male child.
Yes.
That bonding is depressing. It's depressing more than anything else. Now you must make money. I have a friend who recently divorced the wife because the wife told him, "Is it not your mates that are doing Yahoo and Ogogodo will put your work so that you get the money?"
I have an ex-wife that used to tell me that if your money finishes, that means you are meant to be a poor man. Now, that's Tutu Gaga, Ego Milioi. That's how she would say it. That Akusinachi. Yes, that's how she used to say it. At the end of the day, she had a baby with her boyfriend, and they want to take my house. So so you see that victim. We are talking about child victim. Once you are 18, they see you as an adult. You are at the age of reason. So you can be held responsible, you can be held responsible for whatever you do. Except in certain situations, like that young man in America that is 17 years and killed him. So they will hold him responsible because they've trained him through police cadets. So he has a sense of right and wrong. So when do you, like in Catholic Church, they say you are not qualified for communion until you are 7 or 8 years. But in the society, the age of reason,
so
they see it as 18.
If the person is 18, whatever he does. But I know for women, for example, when someone is into prostitution, and sometimes
they see it as a victim too, which are not up to. But even adults in women, they say that they are victims of women trafficking. Because they see women as the weaker.
No, to me, my argument is that it shouldn't be seen that way. Anybody, whether male